All right. Even though there's a great deal of controversy right now about the president's plan, the executive order to forgive up to 40 million American students and former students' debt by up to $20,000 each, they're actually looking at making that even bigger. Elizabeth Warren is leading a charge right now to have all of their debt forgiven and free and clear to claim bankruptcy in the process via the federal government. But I digress. That latter one is a Herculean leap, to put it mildly. But my next guest is among 7 states right now suing over this and saying that, A, the president can't do it, and it's a leap that he's even considering doing it. Leslie Rutledge is the Arkansas Attorney General, kind enough to join us now. Thank you very much, Attorney General, for joining us. You're arguing on the basis of the fact that the president legally can't do this and constitutionally can't do it, right?
Well, that's right, Neil. The president does not have the authority to arbitrarily sign an executive order wiping out this loan debt taken on by adults voluntarily. These were all adults who chose to take on this debt, and he is instead wanting to cater to his liberal left base and the elites who have these high-dollar degrees from Ivy League schools and put that debt on the backs of working Americans, our plumbers, our electricians. So that's why we filed this lawsuit. It's against the law. It's a violation of the Administrative Procedures Act. It's separation of powers. All of this comes into play with a president who time and time again overreaches the authority he has as president.
So the difference here, I know presidents can alter a timetable or stagger the release of funds or restructured loans and all of that when it comes to corporations or the bailout of Chrysler. But this is a different beast, right? I mean, this is something that the president alone is deciding he's going to wipe away. And you're worried about precedent. Could you explain that?
Well, sure. The president is essentially wanting to put $400 to $600 billion worth of debt onto future generations for the next 20 to 30 years using the HEROES Act, which was put in place during the Iraq War to provide relief for our service members, our brave members of the military, so they could have relief. And it says, or in the circumstances of a national emergency. Well, perhaps President Biden forgot that he said the pandemic was over just a month or two ago. The president declared the pandemic over, yet he wants to use something such as the HEROES Act designed to offer assistance to our brave men and women in the military for, again, these college-educated elite who now are not willing or able to pay back those college loans.
You know, I'm not a lawyer, but I think I qualify because I watch a number of legal shows, so I'm right up there with you, Attorney General. But here's what I want to ask you. I suspect, and again, you're the expert here, that maybe the president knows he's in legal kind of slippery ground here, but that this will be challenged in court, and maybe your very suit, along with 6 others, will stop it. But by then, the monies have been dispensed, the loans have been forgiven, and how we claw that back is anyone's guess. Do you think that's his intent, that he knows he can't do this, but he's going to do it, be reversed in court, and figure out the details later?
Well, I gave up a long time ago, Neil, trying to figure out what this president is thinking, and I think many Americans have. But what we do know is that
if that happens, you can't unclaw it back, can you? Well,
we expect that this loan forgiveness cancellation program of his was set to go into effect as early as this coming week, and that's why we went ahead and filed this lawsuit. We're going to be asking for that injunction to stop it from moving forward. We are asking the court, the Eastern District of Missouri, the federal courts, to stop this loan cancellation program from moving forward because it is beyond the scope of the president's authority. Even Nancy Pelosi, and I agree on this issue, she said, our Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, even said the president does not have the authority to do this. And for once, I agree with Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Well, she said that earlier
before then when he wanted to push this through, conveniently forgetting that statement she made. And I'm told politically, I know this goes outside your area, you're a lawyer and a very good attorney general, that this is popular with the president's base and Democrats' base. And whatever you say about people who aren't keen on it and feel that they've been left out or worse, are paying for something that they're not getting, it will bring Democrats to the polls. What do you make of that?
Well, never should we make a decision just to bring people to the polls. This is bad public policy.
Well,
it's against
before,
the law.
right?
If we want
before.
to do that, well, it has. They need to take that to Congress and not violate the law. And quite frankly, when you're putting a tax burden on all other Arkansans and Americans that didn't take out those loans, and you're putting that burden back onto hardworking Americans, that should be bad political policy. So I don't know who they're catering to, but they're catering to the wrong folks. I want to make sure that we're taking care of all Arkansans and all Americans, and adding more financial burden on them in the height of this inflation is the wrong direction.
All right. Attorney General, keep us posted. Leslie Rutledge.